Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about what to do and what to expect when you're buying your first home. So being a first home owner, when you're looking to buy a house, there's a lot of things to do. First of all, you know the golden rule of real estate: location, location, location. Well, that depends on your budget too, right? I mean, are you willing to go all the way up, go over your budget sometimes just to get that great location that you really want to be with? Or are you wanting to and willing to compromise? So in our case, based on my experience, my husband and I, we move a lot. So we get to experience to buy and move to another home, from one home to another in our case, unfortunately. So anyway, at that time we moved to Houston, and there wasn't a whole lot of inventory, and buying a house in Houston at the time is like, you know, buying hotcakes. I mean, they're selling, that was definitely the seller's market. They put a house right there in on the market, and boom, it goes right off. People nabbed it right away, and we even sometimes we even go over the asking price, and it's still, you know, we got bit. It becomes like a, you know, bidding war. So anyway, we actually kind of like settled with this house that we found. And really, I mean, the house wasn't that bad, except that I wanted an open concept home because I like to entertain. But the home that we found was a big one, but the kitchen was kind of like outdated, and also kind of like closed in, so it wasn't like an open concept. But because we've looked at so many homes, and my husband and I always disagree on what kind of home we want to buy. So at the time, I think we were sort of like really tired. We were tired, and so we found this home that, yeah, okay, it wasn't perfect, but I guess it has the stuff that we need. So we made an offer to it. Well, luckily, the realtor of that home was on vacation, because our realtor, when she sent that offer, she wasn't, or whoever, he or she wasn't ready to communicate with us. That was, I believe that was Saturday. So anyway, Monday or Sunday, I believe that was Sunday. I'm sorry, excuse me. It was a long time, kind of like a long time. So excuse me if I made some mistake recollection on the days, you know. So anyway, I believe that was Sunday. I was just kind of like browsing through homes, and I found this magnificent home with this big kitchen and you know, big backyard, which is very, very rare to find in Houston. Actually, suburbs of Houston. It's the place was in Missouri City. So anyway, I look at the pictures of the house, and I was so excited because it looks very, very beautiful. But sometimes, you know, pictures are so deceiving. A lot of times we were so disappointed when we look at the house that we went to before, because it looks very nice on a picture, but then as soon as we got there, it was, you know, a disappointment. So anyway, this one, I asked my husband to take a look at the pictures of this house, and my husband said no, because we already made an offer. And I said, no, we're not gonna settle that house. This is the house that I really want. Besides, the other realtor hasn't really communicated back with us, so I'm gonna make an appointment to see this house. So anyway, my husband's like, well, you better talk to our realtor, because, you know, I'm sure she's not gonna be happy. Anyway, I sent an email to our realtor, and obviously she wasn't happy, because, you know, she feels like I'm being, you know, not really nice by doing that. But you know what, guys? You guys are the buyer. You guys are the one who's gonna pay for the house, and you guys are the one that's gonna live in that house. So you gotta be happy with what you're buying, okay? So anyway, I told her that I let the realtor of the seller knows that we already have a realtor. I just need to look at this house. And so If my realtor would come, fine. If not, then so be it. But I'm gonna, look at this house. So anyway, as we pulled in into the front door, I was so thankful because I've been praying that hopefully this house would really look as nice as in the picture. But it even exceeds my expectation. As I walked in, it was just beautiful, beautiful home. So anyway, I convinced my husband that this is it. We need to make an offer now before this house is gone. So we made an offer and it got accepted. So I was very, very happy and ecstatic. Cut the story short. My point is, if you're buying a home, you need to make sure that that's really the house that you really want to be in. First of all, if you're a first-time home buyer, I got to tell you, there's always going to be a compromise. And, there's always, the house is never going to be perfect on however you want it and whatever you want in it. There's always a compromise, trust me. And I think the compromise of that house, if I can say that that's a compromise, is like the living room, I wanted it to be hardwood, but it was carpet, and the carpet was old. But I know that down the road, we're going to change it into hardwood. That's an easy fix, right? So, and the second thing is that you need to know that the bathroom and the kitchens, they are the biggest expense of the house. So make sure that if you're buying a house, those two areas are already in good condition, because the other areas like bedrooms or whatever, carpet or walls, you can always, the walls, if you don't like the paint color, you can always repaint it. Carpet, if you don't like it, you can always change it or change it into a hardwood floor or tiles. That's easy fix as long as you have the money. Third, you need to make sure that you also have a budget. You need to do some research of the area. If you have kids, I guess obviously the school district is a must, right? And then sometimes you can take a fixer-upper as long as you're willing to spend the money and spend the time on fixing it. And if you can't fix it, you need to make sure that you know a reputable carpenter or contractor that knows how to fix your home and turn it into the home that you really want. And then of course, moving in. Soon as you move in, buying a house is a big expense. So you're gonna need some money to furnish the house, depending on how big the house is. Well, if you have old furnitures, maybe you can still use that. But sometimes if you're buying a home, especially if it's a beautiful one, and then you have old furniture, maybe that's not going to be, good in your new home. So you need to make sure too that you set aside budget for furnishings, and also maybe if there's anything else that you need to change in the house and you need to fix, right? So bottom line is you need to learn to compromise and maybe learn to kind of like expect the unexpected, because on our first home we got very lucky, but on our second home, when we moved to another state in Hot Springs, Arkansas, which by the way, it's a very, very beautiful state and a beautiful place. I mean, Hot Springs is beautiful place. Arkansas itself is a very, very beautiful state. It's if you're a nature lover, then that's the place to go. So anyway, as we were moving in Hot Springs, there wasn't enough inventory out there as well. And we have no idea of the price out there too. We have no idea. So we wanted to be in a lake, okay? But man, when we look at houses by the lake, the houses itself is like needs a lot of work. It's small and it needs to be gutted. I mean, I'm telling you, it's a fixer-upper. But guess how much was the price? It's always, minimum was always like $600,000. So that there is already really high price, okay? And then you still need to fix it. So then again, we realized our expectation was so high. So we were kind of like let down. So we learned to maybe kind of like lower our expectation a bit, maybe look on another side, not just the lake side, but maybe there's some houses out there that, um, maybe suitable for what we really want and what we really need. It's not just around the lake. So the problem is, my husband wants to be in a countryside, and I want to be in suburbs where I can see neighbors, or I want to be in a subdivision where I can see neighbors, okay? And I can walk around without being afraid. Actually, living in a country is not bad at all, because sometimes that's actually great. Nobody would tell you what to do, because when you're in subdivision, there's this HOA, and you really can't, although that's your property, but you really can't just do whatever you want. There's good and bad on that, okay? I think because HOA, helps you to avoid your home value going down, because if there's no rules, I guess people will just do whatever you want. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And I think to some of you guys that lives in a subdivision and live somewhere where there's no zoning, law, I think you have experienced that your house may be really nice, and then next to you would be, I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to offend people also, because we live what we can afford. We live by our means, and people do what they can do, to survive. So anyway, going back to Hot Springs. So we've looked, and we are so tired of looking, because my husband and I couldn't see eye to eye, and what house we should be living in. So finally, we found this house that's for sale by owner, and our realtor also, they told us from the very beginning that they don't want a house for sale by owner because it's such a hassle. But because I guess they were tired of looking houses for us, and I guess for them were very difficult to please. So they were just very, very happy to know that we found a house on our own. So anyway, we went through it, and the house is not perfect. There's wallpaper. The kitchen is closed in, but it's big, and it's kind of like a little bit open to the dining area. So we settled for it, because we're thinking, hey, we can change the wallpaper. Maybe we can do something else. We can open the wall between the kitchen and the living room down the road. That's the, goal. The problem is, again, if you're buying a home, it's a big purchase. And then my husband, he's a very, very simple man. If it's for him, he can live in a shack and it's okay. As long as the floor doesn't have a hole and a roof doesn't have hole, we're okay. Me, on the other hand, I want something nice that we can be proud of, because that's why we work hard, so we can have a nice home and we can have nice stuff. To some people that might not make sense, but to some others, you might understand me. So anyway, like I said, we found this home, we settled, we moved in. So I start ripping wallpaper, painting walls, so it looked nice. However, the plan to remove the walls against the kitchen, between the kitchen and the living room, never really happened. We had a plan also to rip off the carpet and make the entire floor plan hardwood. It didn't happen. So to summarize the things that you really need when you're buying a home, especially when you're first home buyer, the things that you need, first of all, you need to make sure that you do have a budget, and maybe you're willing to lower your expectation a little bit. You need to also learn to compromise. And then maybe also, if there's a house out there that's maybe more than what you want to pay, make sure that you can maybe afford to make that payment. Also, obviously you need to save up for it because you have to have a down payment, because the down payment helps you out to lower your monthly payment. And then of course make sure that the curb appeal is really nice, because sometimes if you're just adding something to the front, or just, you know, to make the house looks nice at the front, that's fine, right? Maybe that's an easy fix. But if you're wanting to maybe change the structure of the front, then maybe that could be, you know, kind of like hard and costly. So when we bought a house, I always consider the curb appeal. Then of course, you need to make sure that, like I said, the bathroom and the kitchen, they are the biggest expense. So make sure that the house that you're buying, that the kitchen is already fixed, or it's not like you need to like do a big renovation on it, and the bathroom as well, because other areas, like I said, you can change it. You can change it easily. It's not a whole lot. A lot of people do DIYs now. And speaking of DIYs, when you are buying a home, when you look at, oh, this is a nice kitchen or this is a nice bathroom, maybe you kind of want to check out the details, how they really did it, because sometimes there might be gaps, there might be cracks that you don't see it right away. In our experience, we see things here and there, but we manage to learn to accept it. It's just the way it is. So we fix what we need to fix, you know. So, but if you're a first home buyer, sometimes you don't have that whole lot, you don't have a whole lot of money out there, because you know, your first home buyer, sometimes you don't know what to expect, okay? And then sometimes if you're emotional buyer, if you're buying a home, don't be an emotional buyer, because sometimes that can lead you into demise. You need to have some process, take it slow, and if you really think that that's the house that you really want to buy, so then be it. But make sure that your husband or your wife is on the board, because it's hard to buy a home if it's just you really want it and your spouse really hates it. It's not all about you. Relationship is all about give and take and compromise. We all know that, right? Hopefully this video helps you out and I was able to give you some pointers, especially if you're thinking of buying a house soon or you're first time home buyers. Please don't forget to like my video and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you soon.